Hi guys, this is Ganesh here. I am going to review my bike. This is a 2019 CBR 250R. I am basically from Bangalore, and this will be just the 13,000 kilometer review which I could do on the Odo on this bike, and I will just share my experience about this bike. So basically, when I was buying this bike, I had 3 to 4 bikes in my mind. That is KTM Duke 250 and the Java 42. Java 42, I felt it is little bit shorter for me, and the seat also I felt that it was little bit uncomfortable. So that's the reason I did not want to go for Java 42, and the KTM Duke 250 was there, and it was bit more expensive than this one. It would cost me around 2.5 lakhs in Bangalore. So my budget was not that much as well, and I was looking for a Japanese bike which is close to performance of Duke. So even in the top end, so that's the reason I picked up this bike. So I was also looking for something like a sports bike or a sports tourer kind of a setup, wherein that's the reason uh, got this bike for me. So that is one thing, and I also had FZ in my mind, and FZ was a very good bike, but the thing is, I felt it was little bit underpowered at the top end, so that's the reason I did not want to go for FZ25. So yeah, so there was R15 as well, but R15 is again a 150cc, and I have been owning 150cc for a long time, so I just wanted to upgrade for a bigger version of the bike. So these are the things which I wanted to review with this bike, and I will let you know what are the points I can add. So let's get started. So first thing is, I have just told you why I chose this bike, and I just wanted to take you through the technical specifications of this bike. It's basically a 250cc single cylinder DOHC 4-valve liquid cooled engine, wherein you are getting around 26.5 bhp, and it's a DOHC setup, and you are getting 22 Nm of torque. So that is the engine capacity of this bike, and the chassis which this bike uses is a twin spar steel diamond frame. So that is one more thing, and the tire types which has been used is a tubeless tire, but it is using a Contigo tires, which are horrible as per what I have seen for the grip. So the front tire uses 110/70, and the rear section uses 140/70. So both of them comes with the alloys. So obviously it's a touring setup, and it's a sports tourer. Obviously it will be having alloy wheels nowadays. Even the smaller bikes have alloys. So that is one thing, and the fuel tank capacity of this bike is 13 liters. It comes around 13.5 liters I feel, but still we can keep it as 13 because it's an MPFI engine. So you have to have some reserves of fuel in this bike before it comes to zero. So if you are riding this bike for even in reserve, and if you end up using all the fuel, you also end up spoiling your fuel injection. Okay, so that is one thing, and so this comes as a sports tourer. Don't get confused, guys. This is not a sports bike. It's not a super sport. Actually, like an R15 or a RC390 or a RC200. This is a sports touring bike. So you can tour on this bike comfortably for long distances, and it gives you a good comfort in touring. So that is what I can tell about this bike, and performance of this bike is quite good actually. So you can do some 0 to 100 kilometers per hour within no time, and I have seen people doing it in 8 seconds. from 0 to 100, and I keep it as 8 to 9 seconds, I believe. When if you are pushing the bike uh, above 5000 rpm, this bike becomes a hooligan. So before 5000 rpm, it is just like a normal 150cc or a 200cc bike which just cruises, and it doesn't it's not sluggish, or it's a very smooth bike before 5000 rpm. Once the rpm crosses 5000, the bike becomes a proper mental. So that's what I can say. And cruising speed of this bike is quite good as well, so it can cruise at around 100 to 120 kilometers per hour very easily. So that's the speed spot of this bike. And if you push more, now obviously the mileage will reduce, and I guess even at 100 kilometers per hour you cannot expect more than 30 on this bike. And if you're doing it 100 to 120 kilometers per hour regularly, so it can do that, it can hold that speed for a long time, but your mileage will go for a toss. So don't expect more than 30 on that speed. So that is what I can tell. But generally I have been cruising, or I have been riding on this bike for in the cities at around 60 to 65 kilometers per hour on a city speeds. I think it is quite sufficient for me to do that. And 60 to 65 kilometers per hour gives me a mileage of 38 kilometers in the city. And if I do the same thing at the and do the same speeds on the highway, it gives me around 42 kilometers per hour. So if I push the bike to 100, 110, 120, as I said, so I have to expect around 30 kilometers. That's it. So the mileage reduces drastically. So that is one more thing about the performance of this bike. And the modifications which I have done in this bike is few things. So I will show you the modifications that I have done. So basically I have put the radiator guard. I have done a PPF for this, and I have also attached a mud flap. So apart from that, it's a bone stock bike, so I have not done much of modifications, not even a crash guard for this. So I'll show you the radiator guard right now. So this is the radiator guard which is from Carbon Racing. So it costed me around 2200 rupees. So it's quite good actually. And even after putting the radiator guard, I felt that the muck when I was doing some good speeds, the muck or the mud, whatever it is, so it used to go throw up to the radiator, and the whole radiator guard would get dirty. So I felt there was one more modification that needs to be done to avoid that. So that's the reason I added this mud flap. So this costed me around 450 rupees in Amazon. I think it's not available right now, but it's a very good I think it's not available right now, but it's a very good the product. So it is avoiding most of the muck that is hitting the radiator as well as the engine to a certain extent. So that's about it. So I have also done the PPF thing. This bike comes with a matte black bodywork, but as I have applied the PPF, this has turned into a smooth or glossy kind of look. So there are few scratches here and there which the service people have done. So when I left the bike for the service, so they have damaged this PPF, so I have to get it rectified. So that is one thing. And so the customer experience of this bike is very good. Being a customer, I have enjoyed riding this bike even for long distances as well as my office rides. So it's very smooth, very stable, very reliable also. And the road presence of this bike is very good, and people keep staring at you most of the cases, and they think that this is somewhere around 1000cc bike, except the the sound. So the sound of this bike doesn't attract much of audience, but apart from that, the presence is very good. So that is what I can tell. And the downside of this bike are few, so I just wanted to tell that as well. So the first thing is the tires. It's a horrible tire. So which Honda uses, actually it comes from the showroom. It's a Contigo tires, and it's a soft compound tires. I don't know how they mentioned it as soft compound. It doesn't give any grip at all, and in case if you're riding it in rain, you have to be very careful, and God should help you in case if you are doing good speeds on rain, and if you have to apply sudden brakes, and if you don't have ABS like mine, so you are in for a big trouble. That is what I will be able to tell you. So that is one thing I am not happy with, and I also need to get this changed, and most of the CBR owners get this changed very quickly once they get this bike delivered. So it cost me around like say around 9,000. So that is what I am expecting, but I am just lacking budget right now, so I am just waiting for a right time to get this tires changed. And also these tires have not worn out still, so it's still even after 13,000 kilometers, it has got still more life. So that's the reason I'm just holding for it. So that is one thing. And the next thing is Honda service. Honda service is not at all good. Generally, they only are good in servicing the Activas. There are very few people who have a good knowledge about these liquid cooled engines, and we have to search for them literally in a place like Bangalore, where we find supercars, and we can't find a person or a mechanic who does a service for a 250cc liquid cooled engine. So this is just a concern from my end, and also most of the CBR owners have it actually. So that is one thing I have to tell. And the spares cost is pretty okay, but it's not that cheap like the Pulsars or the other Indian brands like the KTMs. Also it's at the costlier side, but it's fine. It's very reliable and a very good or what, like it's been made very well actually. So it will last you for a long time. So that's the reason it's okay for me. So that is one more thing. And service not available everywhere. So that is one more thing which I have to let you guys know, that service is not available everywhere for this bike. You have to find a showroom where the person is trained for CBR, or there is a technician who is trained for CBR, or else they will do something and they will mess up the bike. So that is one more thing. And dashboard features not too much, yes. So that is one thing I have to show you guys. So the dashboard features of this bike is not too much. I'll show you from the other side. So we just have the basic things here. So basically we have the RPM, we have the time, we have the fuel. Okay, so this is the fuel, this is the time, this is the trip, and I got what, so trip total kilometers run, so it's just 12,873 kilometers total run till date. And this is the temperature, and I have got one trip meter, not even 2 trip meters, and that changes every 1,000 kilometers. So that is one more thing which I am not happy with, because this is a 250cc bike, and we expect doing lot of kilometers on this bike on a ride, like if you are doing Bangalore to Kanyakumari, or like up and down. So we have to, the odometer gets reset soon after, sorry, the trip meter gets reset soon after 1,000 kilometers, and we have to keep on calculating the kilometers. So that is one more thing which I can say. And so there is no center stand for this bike, guys. That is one more thing. It is, you might tell me like, why do you want a center stand? This is a sports tourer, and all the stuff. Yes, I agree. So sports tourer, even the bigger bikes doesn't have a center stand, but it has its own downsides. Even if you want to lube your chain, it's very difficult for us to do that. You have to keep pushing back and forth to lube the chains. So for the maintenance purpose, it's very difficult for us to do that. So that is one thing. But apart from that, center stand missing on center stand, I don't feel that the requirement for center stand, and I think if the bike is too much loaded, it guys, it just tends to bend on the other side where the stand is placed too much when you park the bike. You cannot see this in the camera, but still the bike actually leans towards the stand too much, and you feel like the bike might fall as well, but it won't fall, but it looks like it's going to fall. So that is one thing. And if you load up the bike with the luggage and all, I think if the ground is too soft, there is high chances of bike falling over. Okay, so that is one more thing. So headlights are good, guys, but generally, so headlights, I will show you the throw. So this is the headlights. I think in this sun I cannot show you the complete complete picture of this, but okay, so this is the above part. Here is the I beam. So it's sorry, the above part is the low beam and the below part is the high beam. So basically the lights are good, but not excellent. Like you don't expect Dominar kind of lighting. So that is what I can say. So it's pretty good for a normal ride, but if you're doing high speeds on the night times, then you have to be very careful. Okay, so that is one more thing. And issues that I have come across on this bike is two things which I can tell as of now. That is, first thing is the header gasket. So here I will show you that as well. So here I could see the bike, the engine oil leaking from this part. So wherein you see from this angle, you can see this part is completely wet kind of thing, where the silencer pipe is coming out. So that part is the oil leakage which I had. So the head gasket which comes here, sorry, I don't know whether this is getting focused or not. Yeah, so the header gasket which comes here at the top had to be replaced, and I got it replaced for around 100 rupees or so. That guy, the mechanic who did it for me, was very good actually. So he took my complaint and he got the part arranged and got it done as quickly as possible. So it was just a 40-45 minutes work for them. So that was one thing. And there was also a engine coolant leak, wherein from this nut, the engine started losing its coolant, and it started pouring all the way over here. So that is one more thing which I can tell, but that was just a nut issue. It just got loosened, and we had to tighten it. So once it got tightened, it was working all well actually. So that was one more thing. Sorry for the background noise, guys. So there was one more issue which I had during my trip. That is the battery issue. Basically the battery was not recharging, and we had to stop the bike somewhere in the middle of the ride, and we had to get that sorted, and somehow we managed to replace the battery itself, and we reached home safe on that particular ride. So battery, I think yeah, I had a warranty for that, so that was not a problem for me. They replaced the whole battery and gave a new battery for me. So apart from that, I don't have any issues on this bike. It looks stunning from most of the angles, and it doesn't look disproportionate in any of the angles actually. So that's the total review about this bike, and I feel like I have answered all these questions, all your questions. In case if you have any questions, you can comment on the comment box, guys. I will be able to respond to that as well. So till then, thank you so much. Ride safe, and take care of yourself, and bye bye. See you.